Hey everybody, I'm Lisa Young Sutton and I have a great box spread to share with you today. Now someone asked me for assistance with the interpretation of this. So these are not cards I drew, someone else did, and they sent them to me. So I am using the Strange Lenormand by Jess Roller for this video. And the context is this. This was a question posed by a young woman who was troubled by certain posts by the same person in an online group she's part of, and she was thinking of reporting them to the group admins, but for some reason she felt uneasy about doing that. Like her gut was telling her, don't go there. So the question she asked was, what will the outcome be if I report the offensive posts? Now, right from the start, she could have been more specific with that question, and the reason she needed me to help her is because she wasn't sure who was doing what to whom here. So if she had asked what would happen to the poster, or if she had asked how will this action affect her, then she would have known exactly how to interpret these cards, I think. But anyway, let's tackle this with the simplest box spread method of interpretation ever. That's the last box video I posted recently, right? And that's where you start by looking at the center row, and then you look at the cards above to see what's influencing these cards, and the cards below to see what's at the basis of this situation, right? So the middle row contains the culprit. The culprit showed up, and we know it's the culprit because she's asking about what will happen if she reports this person. She's number 29, so 28 is the culprit. Whether it's a man or a woman doesn't matter. We only have two people cards. But you can see here we have the group, we have the garden for the group, we have the letter for the posts, or for what would be communicated to her, communicated to the culprit. We have the bear for the admins, right? So we have everything that we need here. All right, now, so I'm looking at the middle row, and we have the culprit, and we have the letter and the bouquet. Now the letter is ahead of this person, not behind them. So this tells me that they will receive a pleasant communication. So that's telling me they would get a slap on the wrist. So nothing horrible would happen to them, right? But just looking at the culprit standing on the rider with the mice above their head, and then I was looking at this little slap on the wrist that they would get, and when I was looking at the rider and the garden and the fact that the rider knights the bear and the bouquet, and I thought, you know what, this looks like a grandstander. This person is grandstanding, right? So if we go back to just looking at what's above them and below them, they are the person who is delivering messages to the group, right? So they're standing on the rider, but they have the mice above their head, which tells me there's something wrong with their thinking. And the rider and the mice together, to me, spells slander, it spells dirty words, corruption, contamination being delivered, sneaky, something sneaky being delivered, talking behind somebody's back, right? Yeah. So the rider, again, as I said, it knights, bear, and bouquet, and that's actually a classic combination for bribery too, right? Influencing with pleasantries, influencing with gifts. I'm just pointing all these things out. You can see how these cards can show up in all of your spreads to explain situations, right? All right, so let's look at this top row to see what's influencing this whole situation. And, anytime you start forgetting what the question was, just remind yourself. So the question again is, what will happen if she reports this? So we can look at both mice and scythe as the posts being removed, right? This would be the loss of the posts, and this would be deleting the posts. But the mice is stealing, or a loss that leaves a mess behind. It's a dirty loss. And the scythe is our strongest warning card in the deck. It warns of danger. It's warning, about acting in haste, right? So we could say haste makes waste, or you reap what you sow. Either way, her good fortune and ability to protect herself in the group, protect her standing in the group, or to protect her enjoyment of the group, is in danger. The side is pointing at this bear, right? Now the bear is also the admins in the group, right? We have posts, we have the group, we have the admin, we have the culprit, right? So the big question is, what is this snake doing down here as the exit card? So right away then I went to the primary diagonal, and that tells me that there's just something not quite right, because we have the mice and the letter for the complaint, right? Mice and letter can be a complaint, it can be a whistleblower, that would be her. But why is it ending in betrayal here, right? Or sarcasm, or malice, or spite, right? So she cannot trust who she's reporting to. That's what that was telling me. And that led me back to looking at the bear as the admins. So the side is pointing at them, and they are facing corruption. They're facing the mice, right? So we can look at the columns to see how the story progresses as we move left to right. So looking at the first column, we have the culprit delivering filth or actively taking away from or contaminating the group. We have the admins influencing or controlling what's posted in the group. And we have the third column is deleting the posts to make things nicer or to appease the complainer is untrustworthy, right? So you can see how this is leading to something not so good. All right, now whenever I see the snake and the bouquet together, right away I think of Judas Kiss. Yeah. So this told me that she should just leave this alone, because she can't be sure who to trust in this situation. And her feedback was interesting, because she said that she did feel the admins were biased and didn't like when people offered opinions that differed from their own, and she even felt bullied by them at times. So she did decide to leave this alone and move on. So that's it for today's video. If you are in my Facebook group, Lisa Loves Lenormand Traditional Method of Distance, you can see how other members interpreted this spread. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.